This is Drive, and that is the new Hyundai Santa Fe. Looks pretty different, doesn't it? Now, the styling, even in photos, has polarized a little bit. Some people love it. Some people are not so sure, but what's really interesting is it's not completely black and white, because a lot of people are looking at the front as you are now and saying they love it, and then they look at the rear and say, I'm not so sure. But I tend to think, and that's how I feel incidentally, but I tend to think it's probably going to grow on us like some of the other Hyundai styling we've seen recently, like the DRL signatures at the front of the car. Speaking of which, interestingly, the DRL signature on this new model is a really attractive H pattern on either side of the grille. I quite like it, a little bit different, lets you know straight away that it's a Hyundai. Now, Santa Fe is an incredibly popular SUV for the brand in Australia. Aussies love large SUVs, as we know, so this is a very important vehicle. Let's find out if the new Santa Fe is a significant step forward from the model it replaces. At launch, we spent day one driving the range-topping Calligraphy 7-seat all-wheel drive, and day two behind the wheel of the entry-grade hybrid 7-seat front-wheel drive. You can read our pricing and specification story for the finer details, but it's worth remembering here that the range starts from $55,500 before on-road costs, topping out at $75,500 at the high end. In Calligraphy trim, the 6-seater actually costs $500 more than the 7-seater we're testing at launch, which starts from $75,000 even before on-road costs. For the moment, Santa Fe is only available with the hybrid drivetrain, which it has to be said is a damn good one beyond the specifications on paper. There's a 1.6-litre turbocharged 4-cylinder petrol engine, a single small electric motor, and a lithium-ion battery pack, which combine for outputs of 172 kilowatts and 367 newton metres. Mated to a conventional 6-speed automatic, you get a smooth driving experience on any road. What buyers can rejoice in is the reality that our market now has Toyota challenging hybrids available, and as such, Santa Fe looks likely to give market favourite Kluger a proper run for its money. Against a frugal claim of 5.6 litres per 100 kilometres, both grades we tested at launch used as little as 7 litres per 100 kilometres out on the open road. We'll test them more closely, especially around town in traffic, post-launch. Now, you'll find it unsurprising that I'm sitting inside a Hyundai cabin and I'm telling you how well executed and refined it is, because Hyundai's been doing it for quite some time, but the new Santa Fe really is a lovely place to spend your time. And we've spent a few hours behind the wheel on the launch drive, very comfortable. It doesn't fatigue you on longer drives, which I think is really important for family buyers, because if you head off on road trips, you want to enjoy your time in here, whether you're a driver or a passenger, and you really, really do. I love the colours and execution of the cabin on this Calligraphy model that we're testing here. Beautiful big premium screens. Infotainment touchscreen is really responsive to inputs. The way that the controls are layered, so infotainment screen, then air vents, then controls for climate control down here, really like that. Same goes for the steering wheel. You also get used to the gear shifter on the right side of the steering wheel here, and that allows Hyundai designers to clean up this center part of the console. Now on that, it's really clever that Hyundai's given you 2 wireless charging pads. I really like that as a feature for owners, even though personally I don't love wireless charging and I prefer to plug my smartphone in and have a direct cabled connection. Why do I not like wireless charging? I just don't like the way it heats the battery up. That's just a personal thing. Manufacturers tell us, smartphone manufacturers, that it's not a problem, but I prefer to have my smartphone cabled. And I think often you get a better connection with it that way as well. Having said that, on test, I've had a quick look at cabled and wireless smartphone connectivity, no issue with either. Up here, you've got this really interesting feature that Hyundai's added, which is the ultraviolet cleaning system up there in this little pocket. And you can put things like, I guess, your earplugs, your mobile phone, cabled microphones, things like that, gloves, anything that you use regularly, put it up there. An ultraviolet system cleans the germs away. I haven't tested it myself yet, but it is there, and we will test it when we have the car for longer at launch. Generally speaking, this is a beautiful cabin, really well executed, and it's comfortable. It suits the brief for family buyers who want a functional, comfortable, large SUV. 1.6 litre turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, 6-speed automatic with a conventional torque converter. I reckon the Santa Fe is better for it as well. And then of course you've got a single electric motor, a small lithium-ion battery pack and all-wheel drive. Now this top spec calligraphy that we're testing here is fully loaded. And we'll obviously have a closer look at this when we've got the Santa Fe for a week in the Drive office. But over 1,300 kilometres of testing that this vehicle has done, and don't forget that would include the run-in period because this is new. So it's efficient, it's very close to the claim, which is an even 7 litres per 100. And for a large SUV of this capability, that is incredibly frugal. So that's really good for family buyers who are spending every penny they've got to get the SUV they want, and then they need to be careful with the fuel usage after the fact. In terms of what the Santa Fe is like to drive, it really is a beautiful experience. That feeling of luxury, quality, and the insulation that we spoke about when we were stationary translates to the drive experience when you're on the move. It is a really enjoyable large SUV to drive. Once again, Hyundai has nailed the suspension tune because the way this thing rides for a large SUV is excellent. It's comfortable, it's unaffected by poor road surfaces, and it's really, really insulated. Again, I know I've used that word a couple of times, but it is genuinely insulated inside the cabin and therefore a really enjoyable drive experience. Visibility is great. It's a very light and airy feeling that you get here inside the cabin. Some of that has got to do with the light colouring of the trim in here, no doubt. You've also got big sunroofs, of course, but it's just a really light and airy cabin, and I think the amount of glass that you've got and how tall that glass is plays into that as well. And in terms of being a long distance road trip SUV, this is just as comfortable doing that as it is doing the school run or the weekend sport run around town. And just to recap, the engine and driveline, smooth, quiet, refined. The transition from electric to petrol power is really good too. You do hear the petrol engine come alive, but it's not harsh or nasty or grating, whether you're stationary or on the move. Ride quality excellent, visibility excellent, a really, really high quality family SUV. And I think Hyundai's done a fantastic job of engineering this vehicle for the type of buyer that it has in mind. And don't worry about the fact that it's a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder in such a large SUV, because as we've seen from multiple manufacturers in the last 5 years or so, smaller engines with modern turbocharging technology and the smarts that you get with a hybrid drivetrain mean that you never feel like this is underpowered or too much car for the engine. Great thing to drive, really enjoyable driving experience, and Hyundai's done a fantastic job with the new Santa Fe. Okay, let's round this first drive out with a view of probably the most polarising part of the new Santa Fe, the rear end. Now, as I said at the start of the video, I suspect it's going to grow on us like a lot of new design does, but we'd love to hear what you think of the styling. Let us know in the comment section below. Do you like it? Do you not like it? I like it. I think the rear will grow on me. Now, in terms of how it drives, how it's priced, specification, this is a top of the range calligraphy model, of course. I really think this new Santa Fe is a fantastic SUV. I think it's going to do exactly what Australian buyers want it to do at the right price. As always, let us know in the comments section below if you've got anything else that you want to know about the Santa Fe, and we will endeavour to answer it when we do some longer testing. Don't forget to hit like if you've enjoyed the video. Click on subscribe so you can stay up to date with all of our latest video content, and the full review of the new Hyundai Santa Fe is over at Drive.com.au.